Stress is good in a way, I think. I think without stress, if there's no stress, you don't grow. I don't know, it causes your creative juices, if you will, to flow, and you're able to create something from nothing. The things that I do here in the studio is what I believe in. I believe in our community. I believe in supporting nonprofits. I believe in helping kids. It's not important who gives as long as you give. You know, at first, prior to Liquor Barn and prior to the World Equestrian Games, it was in the backyard barn. I was making pieces for friends and family. That same heartfelt message that I was creating then is still in the product. And I think it's very important that I just don't think you never want to forget where you come from. But I think a lot of what I do here stems back from my childhood, how I was raised, the things I've done without, and I think it's those things that I've done without that have made me a better person. And I don't know, I think, as I said earlier, if you don't go through those elements of life, you're not going to be able to create things that make people feel like people. It's just the history that's here it's a true Kentucky history. What I'm trying to, I don't know, it's really hard, at times it's hard to, it's really just hard to be able to say what you feel. And through my work, I'm not very good with words, but myself, I like to speak more about what I want to say through what I do. Because anybody can talk. You can say the same thing I'm saying, but it's another to go through the hard work and the sweat and the grit and the grime, as I was told. But at the end of the day, when you're sitting back and you're thinking about what you've done that day, that's when you feel the proudest. Studio 300, actually the number 300 stems from the 300 Marines that were on the naval vessel that I was on in the 90s when we were headed to the Persian Gulf. But everything about Studio 300 has a meaning as far as my life and the things that I've been through. I've got a photo here in the shop, era 1850s. It's from the cooperage that was here, and these guys were actually making bourbon barrels for James E. Pepper Bourbon on this site. They used to unload just over there from the trains when the train was able to come through here in this area. On just the other side of me here is where they used to fill the barrels with bourbon, of course, take them to the aging warehouse to age James E. Pepper Bourbon. Years ago, I was only allowed to buy a couple barrels a week, and I guess I just had to earn my way. Like anything that's worth doing, it's not easy. And I just had to, show them that I wasn't going to give up, doing the right thing, and not when everyone's watching, but when no one's watching, because it's something that you can't see with your eyes, but feel with your heart. The World Equestrian Games it sent a message to everybody that Kentucky's worthy of something, and I just began to dream, and of course, like I always do, I dream big. I reclaimed several pieces from the bourbon barrels. One in particular that's, I guess, the signature piece of my business is the bourbon barrel cutting board. And they have the original distillery stamp, which shows the distillery that made it, but most importantly, I think, are the dates that the bourbon was put in the barrel. When creating Kentucky Nose, I wanted my imagination to be able to think through each piece of the Kentucky Nose. And late one night, I was working on a barrel. Just as I started cutting the staves on the barrel head popped off. And when I looked down into the barrel, there was the Kentucky Nose. It took us to let him out. He's always been inside the barrel. So with these things that I'm creating, I hope that I'm able to convey that message of, honesty, hard work, integrity. It's not about customers, it's about people. My name is Tony Davis, and I'm the creator, crafter of Kentucky Knows.